like dedicated to this podcast at this point because I was really about to say, why are we trying again? Because the amount of A, technical issues, and B, just like effort that this took to get this
Agreed.
podcast going for this weekend because we were supposed to have a guest, and through no one's fault of anybody, it just didn't work out this month. And we really
Mhm.
wanted to present you guys with something else. So, hello and welcome to the Musical Ones podcast with me, Alex Allegra.
And Katie Fee, Alex, where are you right now?
Okay, segue. I'm in a hotel room. So the whole reason we couldn't record in our normal studio space is because I am traveling like a mad woman this weekend, and I'm currently at Sonic Temple in Ohio. Which
That's what it is.
Ohio, why are you cold? It's May. It's like what? It's May, and it should be warm for festival
What
season, but it is
what's the temp there?
like 65. But apparently,
Wow.
you guys are like also Nashville's also kind of goldish.
It's the high is the 90 on Sunday though,
Yeah.
so
So, and then after this, I'm going to Wisconsin to visit some family, but also do some more work related things with some shows that we have going on up there. And I'm surprising
Mhm.
my mom with tickets, which isn't really a surprise anymore because she knows about it, but
Yeah.
which I had to kind of spoil because she needed to know that I was in town so she could pick me up at the
Right.
airport. So that's been fun. The only thing that's not so Sonic Temple is like pop punky. I didn't go through the high school phase of this stuff. I went through the college phase, which means Katie observed a lot of it. And all it is
Mm.
saying is that I need my hair to be red again, which it kind of looks red in this light, but it needs to be bright ass red again. And I need to figure out a way to do it myself so that I don't have to spend so much money every time I go to the hair salon. The band I came to see was My Chemical Romance. Like I was like, if my, yeah, so I'm technically here
Mhm.
for work, but work was also seeing My Chemical Romance last night, and I was like,
Okay.
so yeah, my
Well,
little college heart is so happy right now.
yeah. Um, I played Swift Artists 2 nights ago now, and there was a girl that was like pop rock was her genre, and like kind of ish vocal wise, she was making me think like the non-screamo part of Lizzie Hale. And so I
Yeah,
listened to Hailstorm on the way home. So it's funny that you mentioned Hailstorm was there
I
because I'm like,
forget.
I
So
just
Katie's
listened to
a
them.
big Hailstorm fan, and I totally I either forget or B, she's always out of town every time I go to see Hailstorm. So I
Yeah.
always forget to be like, "Hey, do you want to go see Hailstorm with me?" Because they've been at a lot of my work events. So
Yeah. I haven't listened to their new stuff. The latest stuff I've listened to was they called I think it's called Vicious was the album that came out like freshman or sophomore year of college. It's probably the latest stuff I've listened to of them, but yeah. Um,
yeah,
yet
I
to
mean, even half the
go.
bands I'm here for, like everyone's here for the big hit. It's like you're gonna
Mhm.
sing the big hit. There was people dressed up in Scooby Doo outfits today, I assume, for Simple Plan. Like it's like I feel like you're here for Simple Plan.
Yeah.
But there's a tattoo and piercing place right across from my hotel, and I'm like, just log on in, get my nose pierced. But it's okay.
It's yeah.
Well, so because we didn't have a guest,
Talked about it a little
we
bit.
kind of, and I didn't realize that we already had a silly, goofy kind of episode last week because I totally, we recorded things so out of order this last month that I forgot
Mhm.
that we did silly, goofy kind of
Oh
chat.
yeah. Follow up though to that episode is that we did go on a content trip and there was a little rain, but for the most part we were good because I
Yes.
know we
So,
manifested in that episode like good weather,
yes.
like comfortable
I mean,
temperatures.
I got a sunburn, so like it was
On
good
my
enough
feet,
for a
same, yeah.
sunburn. My knee was peeling. That
The
was
middle
all.
of my feet are a different color than the rest of my feet because of the sunburn that turned
So
into a
I
tan.
was gonna say, so this is kind of like a very talky episode. This is kind of industry updates. A
Hmm.
lot of people have been seeing a lot of stuff lately about concerts in general. And so I figured, A, we could talk about our content trip because we didn't really get to talk about that because I also was like, I didn't want to like again with the timeline of when we recorded things, we knew that when we recorded the one up, it would have gotten out of order, and I didn't want to like confuse all of our viewers' minds of
Hmm.
like what timeline are they on at the moment? Because like one
Yeah,
episode we're talking about this and then we go backwards. So I was like, let's just keep it continuity wise. So I feel like this is a great time we can talk about our content trip and just kind of talk about what's going on with the music industry a little bit, kind of more um just some
specifically like
general news.
live
Why
concerts
is
and stuff.
concerts like what is going on with the concert scene? Because we've all seen a lot of shows get canceled. And
Hmm.
I just thought it might just be a good little discussion point. Um, Nothing really like hard hitting scientific journalism here, but like just some conversation starters.
I did find this Instagram post that you sent me, and then I was like, okay, I can't go on Instagram. I need to keep it open. And then when I went to it, it refreshed. So I just had to pull it back up. If you saw my face go, no, that's what that
I was
was.
like, okay, I'm just gonna keep talking.
I think we said we went to Gulf Shores. Did we mention that's where
We
we
did.
went, or
Like,
did we just
that's
say
where we went.
beach? That's where we went.
That's where.
Um, so yeah, I got to do content. Kind of, I feel like the original idea for the trip was specifically just because I personally needed beach content for a song that I'm putting out this summer, but then also just like it's good to get beach content in general for everyone, just for stuff to post. So
Yeah,
got some stuff for Sammy. Sammy K went with us as well, and then Alex got some stuff. So
we're not
good.
the best. Well, not that we're not the best at like being. I find that honestly, I'm very a live in the moment kind of person. I really wish I was
Mhm.
the kind of person that would like get their phone out and just like shove it in people's faces and it works exactly the way I want it to in my mind, but it doesn't. So I had to
Yeah.
like I had to force us a little bit to be like, we're on a reality show. We're at Gulf Shores. This is our
Mhm.
reality show. We're recording everything to get
Yeah.
us as much content as we could because we were there for not even a full two, maybe a full 2 days if you like counted all the hours. But we drove
Mm,
down
just
Friday,
shy, probably.
we stayed all day Saturday, and then we drove back Sunday. So we had such a small window of time that I was like, record everything because you never know what's going to become like actual content
Hmm.
or not at this point.
And
So
I feel like content nowadays, it's like so much of it is like a B footage type thing with text on top of it
yeah,
and promoting stuff that way. So,
it works on TikTok.
recording everything is just B footage if it's not the main event.
Yeah. And so, and then also the trend right now is like editing my thing to look like a reality show. So I like did
Hmm.
that. I still have so much to edit from that trip, and I'm so sorry. I'm so
Yeah.
behind on that. But like I did some like editing our mini golf adventure to look like a reality show kind of a thing.
Okay.
I just have to edit it, but like
Hmm.
things like that.
Yeah.
So it was a
But
lot
I
of
mean, it's a beach trip. We did it end of April, but like beach stuff is gonna be trending like all summer long. Like it's relevant to be posting beach stuff in the summer months, and we went end of or like mid to late spring, so like there's time to edit before
yeah.
posting.
It's so weird to not be in college anymore and realize that like spring break is in the weirdest fucking months. Like
Yeah,
it's not really like fun weather even in Florida half the time to go to spring break. So it's like
yeah. That
we
was the other thing.
technically during like spring break season because the Gulf Shores had a ban on
Hmm.
alcohol and walking around with it on the beach because of spring break. So it's like again just like the like retrospective like spring break is made to be this big thing in like media and then like you get to out of college and you're like spring break should be like the end of May. It should be like Memorial Day.
But
And
then that's just the end of your year. You're not on break from school. You're just
yeah.
done for the year.
So it's so weird. Like, it's just funny. It was
Yeah.
just a retrospect thing.
I don't know. Yeah, if you see anything where you think it's probably more fitting to have like alcohol for content purposes of a song and it's a Coke can, that's why, because there's a ban on alcohol and we weren't risking it. That was empty, but you don't know what's in it. So it was like, you could
Giving away
pretend
the
there's something
secrets,
in here.
Katie.
Huh?
Giving away the secrets.
That's what the podcast is for.
And then
The BTS.
we also have to give a rest in peace shout out to Sharky, who so Sharky was my idea. So this was like concocted in my little brain. I decided on the way down I was gonna find so this is like the real thing I was gonna do to you guys is if we stopped at like a Buc-ee's or something on the way down, I was
Okay.
gonna go in and find a water gun and then go into
Mhm.
the car. And as we're driving along, I ended up being in the front seat, so it didn't work out anyways. But if I was in the
No.
back seat, which I normally am with the three of us, I was gonna come to the front and say, "Oh, we should do sing or like some." The trend is like sing or swim. A lot of times people do it over the pool, and then like you get pushed in if you don't. Well, we're in
Mhm.
a car, and so I was gonna say sing or swim, but like it's not real consequences because we're driving in a car. And then I was just gonna be like, if they got it wrong, shoot them with a water gun. I don't know if I can do that on. And I just was gonna surprise them, which I thought was funny. I don't think Katie would have appreciated. So
No, not
instead,
in a car.
we got to Gulf Shores, and I still had this idea. I was like, "Oh, we should do sing or swim," but like not really. And so we're in a Dollar General, and I go over. I'm like, "You guys don't need to follow me. Like, stop following me. Please go away." And I got this little shark um
We're good.
shark themed squirt gun. It was like a little shark. And
Hmm.
we took it to the and Katie was like, "What you got there, Alex?" I was like, "It's none of your business. Leave me alone." Because I was still trying to surprise. At this point, they knew what I was gonna do though. And so we
Hmm.
get to the beach and I have Katie go fill it up, and we fill it up with the ocean water, like not thinking anything of it. Actually, it was all Katie's fault. No, I was like, it was I had asked her to, and
Yeah,
it
you
wouldn't
told me to.
squirt because it got the sand got like clogged it up, and so the sharky never got a chance to see the video life,
Never got a
unfortunately.
chance.
And so I felt so bad for Sharky. So
Yeah, we ended up getting a different, like, it's more like a super soaker style one, I guess, is what the ones are where you just like push the
yeah,
water out instead of
it
like
was
a
Dory themed.
trigger thing. Huh?
It was Dory themed.
Yeah, it was whatever her bluegill or whatever the species of fish she is, and it looked kind of like Dory.
No, I think it was actually Dory. I think it had a little Finding Nemo thing on it.
I don't know, it was
Oh,
it was
wasn't?
a
Oh,
little too funky to be Dory.
it was Dory themed. Anyways,
Knockoff Dory. Yeah, the bucket and that are still in my trunk. So, and there's a little sand in the bucket, so I have some Gulf Shores with me still.
oh, it's okay. All of the sandy stuff was in another bag, and I just did laundry the other day, and I finally took it out, and I was like, "There's still sand at the bottom of this bag, and I don't know what to do with it." I'm just happy Asher hasn't gotten into it. I'm like, "Please don't eat the
Yeah.
sand."
Yeah. I'm gonna end up giving my nephew the bucket and the Dory thing. So I'm like, keep it in my car so I remember to take it with me to South Dakota next month.
There you go.
So yeah. Um, trying to think if there's anything else with the content trip. Played mini golf twice, so that
Yeah,
was
we love a
fun.
mini golf course, especially when it's raining. So
Hmm.
we found mini golf.
Yeah, we were on the beach just to like enjoy the beach Sunday because we were like, oh, we don't need to leave till like 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon to get home at a decent time. Because it's only like a 7 hour drive. And we were on the beach for 12 minutes and then we had to get up and go because the
It felt like
storm.
a little longer. I was so excited. I was like, "Oh,
It
I can
was 12
finally
minutes.
read my
I
book,"
have time
because the only other time we were on the beach was um
doing
while we were
content.
doing the content. So we really didn't get to just like, which is kind of our own fault. We could have just like laid out and just like
Hmm.
enjoyed it. I'm glad we didn't, because if we would have stayed out on the beach on Saturday, I was the only one that got really burnt, but like I would have gotten burnt.
Yeah, my feet were hurting still at work on Monday when I went back to work from like the shoe pressing on the burn. But
Feet
yeah,
hurt
because I
so
had,
badly because we decided to walk everywhere, which I'm
mm,
glad we did in the grand scheme of things, because then like we got our steps in and stuff, and we
yeah,
were just like lazy because we
my
didn't
feet didn't hurt as bad as New Orleans though. New Orleans was worse for me.
Yeah, but our feet were feeling it for sure.
Yeah.
Mine were
Um,
because of the flip-flops I had, and my feet did not like those.
yeah. But I remember I Snapchatted Sam and my dad being like, little time for beach reading before we have to go home. And they hadn't opened it yet. When 12 minutes later, I go, just kidding, there's a storm coming. Or like
Yeah.
sent a picture of the
It
clouds.
was such a movie moment of like, so we laid down, we're like on the beach, all set
Perfect
up, and
weather,
then somebody
temperature.
had like said something, and I was
I
like,
heard, oh, we gotta go.
yeah, and I was like, oh, and so then we all look behind. Katie looks behind, and I'm like, oh, and then we all looked, and we are like, it's black behind us, and we're like,
Hmm.
oh, and so we gotta move. And of course, at
Hmm.
that time too, we're like all getting in our cars, like it's like a little frantic. Like you can see people are like getting in their car. There are people pulling into parking spots, like
Hmm.
actively like, oh, well, I'm gonna go to the beach. I'm like, are you not looking at what we're all looking at? Like, is there something I'm missing that like some people like to sit out in the beach and be?
Maybe they're like, well, we're gonna park and then we're gonna wait for it to pass and then we'll go out.
No, there was people though that like had parked and were paying and like start
Oh,
walked out. It was so weird. I was like, okay, I guess you
yeah.
paid for beach time. You're gonna get beach time.
I guess. Yeah, that was the one time we had to pay for parking too.
Yeah.
Oh well,
Well, yeah.
it's fine. It was, I mean, it's nothing compared to like Nashville prices. I don't remember how much we paid, but I'm sure it was cheap compared to
Oh
Nashville,
my God.
so
One time, I don't know if I said this story on the pod, but the one time I'm like down in Alabama for work and I parked and I like was so frantic. I was like, I parked in front of like this row of townhouses and I'm like, okay, like checking all over the, I'm like, there's no signs that I can't park here. And I'm like, where's the pay to park thing? And I texted Katie and I was like, when you realize you're not in Nashville anymore because you don't have a pay to park
Mhm.
sign on every single street corner.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
even on Music Road now, it is $1 an hour to park.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to pay for parking for tour stop on Wednesday. I'm annoyed. Because I played in January and then I played in March, and within that 2 months span, like parked in the same exact spot both times, and it was free the first time, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, you have to pay $1 an hour.
That is
But
ridiculous.
like,
And we're already parking where we're parking so that we can walk. We have to walk farther, but it was because
mhm,
we were trying to get free park. Like that's so ridiculous, Nashville.
yeah,
And $1, like not that I want it to be up
yeah.
any higher, but like really, you need that dollar.
Also, that company just took over the parking garage that I usually park in downtown for work. So I have to figure out where to park for work now because there's a couple different ones with the discount, but I don't know where the other ones are because they're farther away. So I always would just go to that one. But
Yeah.
now I gotta figure that out.
Okay.
Love parking in Nashville.
So
Uh,
speaking of living in Nashville, but also just the music industry in general,
mhm,
is that concerts keep getting canceled. And why is
yeah.
that? So, first it was Zayn Malik, which his was more health related, but if you look, I got this idea because I was on TikTok one day, as I always am, and somebody was like, these are the four concerts that like got canceled, and it's like,
Hmm.
yeah, Zayn,
Megan Train, I have the thing pulled
Zayn,
up.
Megan,
Megan
Post
Trainor,
Malone,
Pussycat Dolls.
Pussycat Dolls just got announced not too long ago.
Zayn and Dolly were both health related though, because
But if you
Dolly,
look at
her
Zayn's tour,
residency
okay, so that was the
tickets.
thing I was going to say was before though, if you look at it, it wasn't exactly selling out by any means anyways either.
Hmm.
So there's a couple different things that I think are important to note. So one is that I think some of these people don't have the demand for it. Like
Hmm.
Post Malone, I think he thought like, oh, people didn't get the tickets last year. It sold out so fast and that it would roll over into this year. But I think
Hmm.
we're in a very different financial look of life this year. And I think it goes all the way back to COVID. I think when COVID ended, we were all so excited to get out and go to concerts again. And like, we just went to things and like people were so excited to have that human connection again and like go and do all these things. And then the Eras tour, and then you saw like either really expensive tickets or like the cheaper side of tickets if you bought directly at the time and were lucky enough to get in to when those tickets were first selling,
Yeah.
because we got tickets not they weren't that bad,
Right.
but we also got in. Well, I got in. Out of all three
Yeah.
of us, I got in. And
I
so it
never
was
got a
like,
pre-sale code both times. It's fine.
so it was just like, if you didn't get in, like, yeah, then you had to pay ridiculous prices or get scammed, as I did as well. Um, and so um, it wasn't a big deal though. It was $100 and I got it back. So it was just scary. But
Hmm.
so then there's that. Or um, and then you just kind of start slowly, gradually seeing like there was a point though that ticket sales weren't coming down. And obviously, with the whole Ticketmaster thing, we have some rectification as to what that was all about. But now we're also just kind of getting into like this headway with the economy. And I think last year, kind of like because it wasn't hitting as hard last year and people were buying tickets like a year in advance and you were seeing all these great comebacks happen and all of this stuff, and it was like, oh my gosh, your favorite band that you haven't seen in years is now coming back, and it's like, yay, grab those tickets. I think Sabrina Carpenter, for all the shit that I gave about that tour doing a second run, I think it came in just under people,
Hmm.
like it came in a great time though that people were still buying all those tickets. And now we're in the
Oh,
2026 year and it's like the economy is real. I mean, it's gas prices are skyrocketing
hmm.
to the point
But
where,
would it have been a different story if Sabrina's tour was stadiums versus arenas?
and that's the other thing. So I think a lot of people gave Olivia flack for doing arenas instead of playing stadiums, but I think she was smart
Hmm.
about that because people will sell out those arenas faster than they're going to sell out the stadiums now.
Yeah.
And I think there's a bit of just like we're in like going into a recession, and so it's like going to take people a lot more to want to spend that money. It's going to take things like a Harry Styles who hasn't performed in how many years and then does like these big um things. I did see some people think that maybe it was going to go towards like people doing these big residencies in cities instead of like things.
Yeah.
I mean, Haley Williams is doing that at the Ryman right now and it's selling really well, but again,
Hmm.
I think it's, and I think even Harry though is doing arenas. He's not doing stadiums.
Yeah. And
So
I
it's,
think it's better to do like an arena where you can always add another night versus like a stadium and then you might not even sell out the one night because it's
yeah.
too big.
You have these artists that are doing these big comebacks and everything. And I think people are like willing to make a whole trip out of it, like going to the Sphere and stuff like that, instead of
Hmm.
just like doing tours in your hometown. And people are like really not going to pay $300 to sit at the top of the cheap seats and stuff um
Yeah.
anymore, because they're going to save their money and they're going to go to the things that like they'd actually like pay $500 to sit down on the floor and be
Hmm.
closer to the artist at this point. And so it's like if you're just casually listening, you're losing a lot of like the casual listeners. So unless like you have a fan base that wants to come to every show, and again, then you're looking at a smaller audience in general. Like I don't think there is any artist that would sell out stadiums. Well, I guess that's not true. But like I don't think there's any artist that like has a deep enough fan base to be, I guess I want to say that and then I'm like, but Taylor would probably still sell out a
Taylor,
stadium.
I feel like I'm just curious. Let's look up Chris Stapleton's tickets for
Hmm.
Nashville to see where he's at. Um, because he's at Nissan, so
Yeah.
let's see what his map looks like. Whoa, it's that dark blue color where when you can't see the dots yet, it's dark blue, which I think indicates lots of tickets.
Mm.
And that's most of the thing. How do I get it to go where I can see like most of the map, but like the dot version? This is weird. It's not letting me go to the dots. But anyways, it's dark blue. So like that usually indicates that there's a lot of tickets in the section and it's pretty much all except for like a couple scattered sections that are gray.
I think, oh,
So,
I was gonna say is that You either like have to meet that demand where it's like you haven't been on tour in a while and people are like genuinely excited. And then like again, because people aren't just like rebuying the same ticket. Like if they've seen you a lot recently, like they're not gonna just like jump on that ticket and just like buy it. Especially because like Katie and I used to go to a lot more concerts because it was like at $100 maybe to like sit in like the 300s and like or
Mhm.
not even like $50 to go sit in the 300s for an artist that like yeah it was a lot of fun and like cause but again we weren't like bankrupting ourselves to go to a concert for somebody that we're just like there to have fun and casually listen to so
Yeah. It's
and
looking
I,
like a lot of resale tickets too. So this goes back to
the Ticketmaster
like these
scalping thing
scalpers and stuff that are like just reselling, but they're not reselling at like the 300 section, there's resale tickets for just over $100. So it's not like a Taylor situation where they're like trying to get people to spend thousands of dollars.
right
Which I mean for Chris Stapleton that wouldn't happen. No offense, but like you could see like maybe people trying for like the $300 range for anywhere on the map, but it's actually reasonably priced resale tickets. So that is interesting. Um, but yeah,
It
most of the
goes even
map's still
further
blue.
than just this whole stadium situation. It goes to like the fact that like if you even like trickle it down to like why are because some people are like why can't artists just like lower ticket costs and it's like okay yes we know that the economy is hurting and yes they'd like to like get more people in the door so like lowering tickets seems like the but that ticket is then some venues it's like a matter of you have like your set tickets prices and that's kind of what it is.
Hmm.
Like a lot of independent venues, it's like you generally have like your like every concert's probably about the same. So it's like they don't have a lot of variable ticket prices. So you
Yeah,
have to like be mindful of that. But with these like stadium things, it's like yes, that ticket price seems high. But you also have to pay for all of the crew and everything that you did. And guess what? Because times are hard, all of their rates are trying to go up as well to make up for all of their rates are trying to go up to compensate for the fact that they're trying to feed their own families back home.
hmm,
And it's like they're not making enough money to be on the road as much as they are. Like people aren't getting
right.
and then it's like also gear prices are going up because again, like we're trying to make money in our own industry. And it goes even further than like concerts. Like festivals are struggling like a lot. And it's
Yeah,
like there are some festivals that are doing well. I will say, being here at Sonic Temple, people showed up to this festival. And like it may be the lineup. It some of it is lineups, I will say. Like
hmm,
some festivals, just like this year, I feel like the other thing too is a lot of people had really great lineups last year. And this year,
yeah,
because those people already did it all, they don't come back then the next year and do
yeah,
the same circuit because again they already hit so which makes sense like that's totally normal like you don't generally hit the same markets unless there's a dire need to hit the same markets within the next year and I think somebody like a Post Malone he didn't put out anything new he didn't do anything that is like
yeah,
re-engaging the fans it's just this is like the extended version of his tour that took too long and separated itself and didn't have any new need for those people to re-engage. I think Sabrina was smart, even though I criticized it. I think it was smart to throw the new album in because it was like, oh, it re-engaged fans in some way. And then again, the social media
yeah,
aspect of creating those viral moments and stuff like that, which especially if you go into more AI focused things, like that's not gonna happen with these viral moments to engage audience numbers. So like hopefully that nips anything in the bud about AI taking over the music industry because those artists, AI artists aren't going to do anything for anything on
yeah.
stage. So, but
Um,
then you have festivals who are struggling and stuff like that because there are festivals that I don't think a lot of people, and I'm not going to reveal because obviously I have my own confidentialities of working in the industry. And I try to give you guys as much as I can legally. But there are some festivals that I think people would be surprised that like it's a tradition for people to go either like it's a tradition that people go every single year kind of a thing, or it's like a it's so big that you wouldn't guess, but even those festivals aren't making money. Like it's this year
Hmm.
specifically, it is hard for festivals to make money. And it's honestly kind of surprising. Like
Yeah.
I
I
think
mean, I think like concert wise and festival wise, like one way to combat that maybe like price wise is just to scale down and stuff. Like maybe concert wise, it's like you scale down your production, make it more simple so you have less cost of things. But then also I think of Nashville Pride. I don't remember when they had posted how they were like trying to like save the festival because they were really struggling with last year because of all the rain and stuff really like hurt them. And it's just 1 year or 1 year. It's 1 day this year instead of 2 days because of just scaling back so they can still do it, but do it in a way where they can afford to keep it going because 2 days I think would have been too much for them financially.
which is just so surprising because if you looked at like it was full though when like it
Hmm.
wasn't raining and stuff and it's just like it's just crazy that I think yeah, some unfortunate things just happen to happen, but like it should with festivals too, like this past year is paying for this year's stuff. That's how the festival
Yeah.
market works. So if they're struggling from that past year and then like going forward, like it catches up to itself really fast if you're not
Hmm.
making the means necessary to do that.
Yeah. I think I've seen too when I was trying to research like places to reach out to for booking gigs and stuff, like looking at festivals, there were a handful where it's like we are on pause for 2026 and hope to come back bigger and better than ever in 2027. So that I mean that's another option for festivals is to take a pause to kind of like reset and figure out what they can do differently to keep it going and not have to just like completely demolish itself.
I think of it in terms of like I did a free photography thing and people were like ripping apart these people online for even offering people to do it for free for publicity and stuff like that. But it's just a matter of like, yes, I know that kind of hurts the system, but also like
Hmm.
think about, I mean, they're not getting paid for hosting the rounds. And so I'm taking photos for this round that's not making any money on itself in the first place. Like it becomes
Yeah.
a snowball effect of like, yeah, I understand why they're like, hey, we would love to be able to like pay you for things and but it's like again it's just this whole economy that's like just struggling and so it's like unfortunately music kind of goes to the wayside but I also think that like in times of struggle music has a way to bring people together and like we saw that with COVID like
Hmm.
people were willing to pay exuberant amounts of money to go to a concert because that's how much people missed going to things like that. So it's like I
Yeah.
don't want it to just like completely demolish the music industry because people are struggling still and I think we just haven't even caught up with ourselves from COVID, from being gone for a whole like year and a half of doing nothing, you know.
Yeah.
So it's like yeah. I feel like maybe we should pull up, is there like any articles or anything like
I had the thing you sent me and then I had a thing for Post Malone as well.
okay.
The little it's just like a carousel of a couple slides of information that was like, will concert tickets ever be affordable again? And talks about the people we mentioned earlier, like Megan Trainor, Post Malone, Pussycat Dolls, Zayn, Dolly,
Like
canceling or delaying
Pussycat Dolls
tours.
was for sure supposed to be like this big comeback, and I think they really
Hmm.
thought that people were going to. And I think some people, I think also with the whole Taylor thing is I think we're started relying too much on like last minute ticket drops that people are like, oh, I'll
Yeah.
wait till like day up, which I have never really had that much luck unless it was like a sold out, like unless it was like a completely open thing like this
Yeah.
to get a reasonable ticket. Like if I want to get the ticket, you just have to kind of get the ticket. Like
Yeah.
I'm also like
Um,
we're pushing things so far in advance that I'm like, why am I thinking about something that's 6 months, 8 months, a year from now to like buy something to like plan my, it's like it seems like such a lot to like I don't know what I'm going to be doing. Whereas like I feel like sometimes I'm trying to think of what it used to be like. Has it always been like that though, to get like
Yeah.
big concert tickets like that? Okay.
Yeah. So I remember Carrie Underwood, the Storyteller tour, she didn't have a Sioux Falls date. And so my dad and I went to Fargo, I think, and did just like an overnight trip, booked a hotel or whatever, drove up and saw her for that tour. And then that was the spring leg of the tour. And then she announced a fall leg later and had Sioux Falls on it. And it was like, if I would have known that, we could have saved a trip and just saw her in town. But
Yeah.
um, like they hadn't announced both legs yet, so we are like, okay. But yeah, I think it was probably like a end of year announced the spring leg kind of
Okay.
thing. So like months in advance, but not like super far in advance. The bigger issue is blue dot fever, the industry's nickname for the sea of unsold blue seats on Ticketmaster seating charts. Um, why are sales down? Many artists are booking arenas they can't fill, but the deeper problem is tickets have become unaffordable. Since the pandemic, prices have surged to the point where even devoted fans are priced out. And there's some like screenshots on there of people, I think this is Twitter screenshots, but like fourth tour to cancel the last month. Maybe we should make concerts more affordable. Um, and yeah, just like they're missing out, even if they're like a big fan and usually go to every single tour. It's like there's people who can't afford tickets, even if they used to go every single tour that someone goes on. How did we get here? Dynamic pricing is the main driver. It lets ticket prices spike with demand, leaving fans feeling exploited. When an act can't move tickets at those prices, empty seats become a PR disaster, and cancellation is the easier option. That said, artists with genuine cultural heat, such as Olivia Rodrigo, Harry Styles, Billie Eilish, still sell out at premium prices. The gap between their packed arenas and the growing list of cancellations shows just how thin the margin has become for everyone else. And then the last slide is, will anything change? A few pressure points are building. The DOJ's antitrust case against Live Nation Ticketmaster, which we know, we talked about how they decided that, yes, they did operate as an illegal monopoly.
And we're
Um,
already starting to see is like that they're actively trying to like move forward with that. It's just no like
mhm.
real decisions have come with that.
There's also proposed bans on junk fees, new UK legislation targeting resale markups, and a handful of artists publicly opting out of dynamic pricing. So we'll see if any of that starts to like lower prices at all. And it also lists that Taylor Swift, The Cure, Hayley Williams, and Olivia Dean have all blocked dynamic pricing from their tours. So there are artists that are like opting to not have that dynamic pricing option. So I guess I don't know if it's the case all the time, but it is an option sometimes, at least for the artist to make that decision
Well, and I wonder if it's even the artist or it's the artist team that
or
like
their
is the
teams.
one
But
who's
yeah.
putting the things on it. And I think, oh, here's what I was gonna say is that I think it also goes back to the fact that like in the past, we were told this is there's a couple different things. One, there was a life cycle. It was the
Hmm.
album's out, then the fans get excited, then a tour
Album tour,
comes,
album
then this.
tour.
And so now we're seeing things where it's like, now we have like the residencies and we have this and we have that and then we have extends and all this stuff. And it's like, but also we're a much more open society of like we were fed. This is what artists you're getting. And now
Hmm.
with TikTok and all that stuff, we're picking a lot more of our artists that we want to see. But also that comes with a lot more challenges of like your favorite artist is maybe not as mainstream or maybe like can't get a big enough audience to go on tour or even like
Hmm.
um it's like there's so many things. It's like opener lineups. It's there's so many different aspects to it that is like it's just not meeting fans' demand of like because there's so much available that like why would they go and spend money that they don't even have on something that's going to be like a mediocre thing? And it's like, yeah, you can cut down on production and all that stuff, but is that going to be a better concert then? Like, because then are you gonna walk
Right.
away feeling like was my money worth it to like spend
Yeah.
on like a half-ass show? There's a lot of like
But if
rules and
I wonder if there's a way to like um I guess it would depend on how much the artists and their team can control pricing of stuff.
yeah,
Because I know Garth Brooks, he hasn't toured in a while, but like I remember when he was like him making a point of making sure tickets were like under $100, like affordable tickets,
yeah.
for the entirety of the venue that he's playing and stuff.
But
Um,
that's again also knowing your audience. Like I don't
yeah,
think Garth Brooks is like he knows that like his audience is like run of the mill,
like the blue collar
hardworking
people
blue
who
collar
are.
people, you
Mhm.
know. So
So I mean, if
and
an
it's not,
artist
there's
team
nothing wrong for
can,
artist teams wanting to make the most money that they can. Like that's
yeah,
the other thing is like we're vilifying it so much because we're hurt. But I mean, again, think of yes, but they also might want to make so much money that their teams can then have money. So it's like,
hmm right.
then they're also
But like
have a lot of different things.
the production costs, like if you can like cut down on like maybe you don't need that pyro, stuff like that, like to cut down on costs, then maybe that can help you then in turn make the choice to have the tickets cost less because you're not spending as much to put on the show to begin with.
Yeah. But I think also if you're an artist,
You
you
want all
have
that.
some hand in designing what goes on to the stage.
Hmm.
And aren't we all just little theater kids at heart that want the big
Yeah.
like oh my God. I was watching a TikTok the other day actually that was interesting that it's like you have to be okay with meeting yourself at like a mediocre place because as artists we have this huge larger than life like design for everything and we
Hmm.
think that like oh well people will just once I get this and you're waiting for something to hit you instead of just like going out and being like you have to like keep pushing yourself and pushing yourself so that eventually like everything else will catch up and the money and all that stuff for the budget that you have in your head can like actually go and meet you there and you have
Hmm.
to be okay with putting out something that like is you and represents what you're doing and everything, but isn't to the caliber that you think it is in your head. And a lot of us stop ourselves from putting something out then. And I think of like Sabrina of like, and I do it to myself. Like it really hit me hard because I'm like, I'm somebody who has like these huge ideas. Like I see everything and I'm like, I'm treating this little bar gig that I'm playing full band at that oh, but I need to do this and that and like oh I'm thinking of everything because that's just how my brain works because again, little theater kid at heart who is like glitz and glam and Sharpay Evans production in the cafeteria, you know.
Yeah.
Like that is what I expect and I have all these big plans, but it's like you need to be okay with putting out that mediocre product of like because that's the best that you can do in this moment with your budget, with everything else. You have to be okay with that, or else you're just going to stop yourself and completely like give up. And right now, the only thing that's stopping me is the fact that I don't fucking edit any of my shit and I have thousands of hours worth of content sitting at my laptop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Die. I got really passionate there.
Yeah. Um, the other thing, article wise or whatever, that I had pulled up was just the Post Malone stuff, which, um, when he announced that he was canceling, like, what was it, like 3 weeks of the tour,
I
like
think
the
he canceled the
beginning,
full first month. Yeah. That's what it
he was like, we need the time to finish the album, is the story that he presented the public. But like, if you look at, again, the like blue dot fever of the maps and stuff, like, tickets aren't selling. So I feel like it was like maybe he wanted the studio time, but also this was the way to avoid having to just admit that tickets aren't selling and
Well, I
canceling
mean, and
stuff.
whoever has just come out and said, sorry, I can't sell my tickets. Like, that's
I
it.
can't remember who it was. I'm pretty sure I've seen one person do that, but it was
Oh,
a
really?
smaller artist. Um, but The article I found
I just
is
think that the
misleading.
majority of people aren't just gonna come out and say, sorry, I failed, like, see you
Yeah,
next time. Like, it doesn't look great. Like, I
no.
have no problem with artists making up the, like,
Right. I get it.
I don't at least vilify people for being like, sorry, I gotta go rest my voice. Like, because it's like, yeah, it's embarrassing because, especially because a lot of these artists, like, I know Post Malone, for example, loves to be, like, he would love
Yeah.
to play for five people in that audience just because he
Hmm.
loves to do it. Like, that's not the issue. It's the fact that it would cost more to go and put on that show than it would,
Yeah.
like, you would lose so much money. Which isn't a bad thing. I mean, Miley Cyrus, when she said that she lost more money than she was gaining on her Bangers tour because she wanted it to be all these things and she didn't technically have the budget, so
Hmm.
she put her own money into it. I mean, like, it's like, okay, but like a lot of these artists aren't going to do that because they also have a lot of other financial obligations that they have outside of that, or their team
Hmm.
just is going to be like, why are we doing this? You know, and as somebody who works on the back end of a lot of stuff, like a lot of decisions get made in those kinds of moments. Like it's not just the artist team, it's all the vendors that they work with are like, if we're not gonna actually get paid for it, like we're not just gonna give out our stuff because it could go to something, like because businesses have to make
Yeah.
money. Like that's just kind of how life is. Like, so I'm sure
Hmm.
we would all love to be
Yeah.
doing everything for free, but we can't. So
Yeah. Um, the article I found was, like I said, the title's misleading because then it explains in the it basically contradicts itself in the actual article, but it says Post Malone swaps out Jelly Roll for Big X the Plug at failing Nashville concert,
I did
which then
notice
goes on to
that.
say Jelly Roll was not on that lineup.
And that's what
He
I was
added Big X the
wondering.
Plug. He
Yeah.
Jelly Roll was not on the Nashville lineup. He's on nearly the whole tour, but for some reason was not on the Nashville date. So like he didn't swap him out. He just added someone.
Yeah. Okay, I
Um,
was wondering that because I was also like, oh,
which
Big
I think is because
Apple.
Jelly doesn't, he said he does not want to play another Nashville show until he can headline the new stadium, which is not done being built.
Mhm.
So, some fans are concerned Jelly Roll wasn't as big a draw as Posty might have expected. Now, the Sunflower Singer has called in Big X the Plug to play at the tour stop in Nashville. Um, and then that's when it says, notably, he's not replacing Jelly Roll. The latter was never scheduled to appear. But given the slow ticket sales, it makes sense to call in some backup talent to help put more butts in seats. And given Post Malone's hip hop adjacent background, it makes even more sense to bring in a rapper and songwriter like Big X the Plug. Also, he did like a whole country album
He did,
with
yeah.
like collabs and stuff. So, like, it ties in well that like both of them are from other genres and then went and did a country project and stuff
I
too.
think
So,
Big X should have honestly been on the whole tour. Like when I saw that lineup, I was like, that makes a lot more sense because the collab and Jelly makes sense too with that whole like all three of them would have been like a
yeah,
really
all three of them did that.
like
Yeah.
the other thing is love Jelly
Um,
Roll. We'll never not love Jelly Roll, but his concert is also the same. Like again with Post Malone too. If you've seen him once, you've seen all his shows essentially. Like they also kind of need to like do something a little different,
yeah.
you know?
It says it'll be interesting to see if this change will lead to more sales in Nashville. That said, critics point out that the only thing that could save the tour might be lower ticket prices or Post Malone's upcoming new music, for which he postponed the start of the tour to complete, allegedly. Um, but yeah, so it was originally supposed to kick off 2 days ago in El Paso and Waco, Baton Rouge, lists a bunch of them, um, throughout May and the first week of June, and those shows are the ones that got canceled. So, sorry, I'm reading. Uh, yeah, basically, because I did not read the full article before pulling it up, I'll say. I read like the first couple sentences and it was like, okay, this feels like it's relevant. Basically, what I just already said was saying how he like claimed it was from wanting to finish the album, but failed to mention Blue Dot Fever. So, but now it's going to begin in June. June 9th will be the first date. So we'll see. I think it's June 30th is the Nashville date. Also Carter Faith is the other opener. So
Oh yeah,
we
that's right.
do have a actual like started country, still is country artist, I guess, on there. Um, but that's like June 30th. So we'll see if sales go up in the month and a half that we have still
Yeah.
before the show. So,
Yeah.
but yeah.
No, I think Nashville also isn't the greatest representation of what is
Hmm.
actually doing things in the country because a lot
Yeah.
of people like Nashville, New York, LA get a lot of comped tickets. Oh, and
Right.
that brings up my other point I was going to say with things like festivals. The only real festival that we've talked a lot.
Just
The
keep
only
talking.
real festival that is making that like I feel like I've seen a lot of like publicity for. I mean, I'm sure this festival Sonic Temple is making some money because like I said, there's a lot of people there. But like you
Hmm.
see Coachella and Stagecoach, and those seem to be the only but I think we're gonna also see that even those ones are gonna like struggle here because imagine how many comped tickets are at
Hmm.
those. It's a lot of
Because it's a
influencers.
lot of industry stuff going on there
It's a
too.
lot
Yeah.
of industry people. And that's the other thing. So like it's hard to like be like I feel like people kind of forget that Nashville is like an industry town and that like the reason a lot of artists have even stopped coming to Nashville is because they come and literally the guest list is 100 people and
Yeah.
like all their friends and family are out there and not actually paying customers, which is no shade to Nashville. It's just kind of how it is because you have to like you kind of have to. You have to thank your label
Hmm.
people. You have to thank like, and so how do you thank them? You get them tickets. Like that's just
Yeah.
kind of how it works. So a lot of people, especially starting out young, like a lot of smaller artists don't play in Nashville a lot. Unless like you're completely independent and you play places like Exit In or like
Yeah.
um
Basement
Brooklyn
East.
Bowl or Basement East or
Hmm.
like those kinds of places are where you might actually like make some money on ticket sales, but other than that it's like a lot of guest lists because at those levels your friends can pay $15 to go see you. Like they'll
Yeah.
happily do that. But when you get to more like arena show, like it is so many. I mean, a lot
I
of
mean,
people have boxes at those places that you wouldn't get. Like, it's a lot of people that already have tickets for the whole year's worth of shows,
yeah.
and they just, yeah.
Well, I mean, we went to Russell Dickerson last week, and if you look over to where like the door is that goes backstage by the like VIP areas, that whole like walkway had people like hanging out over there. Like there was a lot of people that I'm sure all those people were on like the guest list
That's
that
all
got
guest
comped
list people.
tickets.
So yeah,
So that's a
that's all.
lot
They have
for that show.
special access, and they're all guest list people. Yes, because they don't.
Hmm.
But and some of the boxes and stuff they'll like
Yeah.
reserve for people. So no, yeah, and again, there's nothing. I can't really say there's anything wrong with it because I also live in that world and in that industry. So it's like
Yeah.
it's what it is. But yeah. No, yeah. I mean like I just don't want the music industry to like implode on itself essentially is like
Yeah.
I think some of these people, I think Megan Trainor probably shot a little too high for herself. I think she thinks she's bigger than she is. Um I think Olivia was smart. I think
Hmm.
uh people are mad that she's not playing a bigger
Like
venue.
a
Like that's
stadium. Yeah.
smart. Like that she's
Well,
gonna make
she's
all
on,
her money.
is this her third album? Second
Yeah,
album?
third album.
Third? Yeah. And then you think of like Taylor didn't do a stadium until Reputation tour, and that was her sixth album.
And she
So
said
like
she was
even like
always nervous to do
1989 was
that. Yeah.
so like it makes sense that if you're only on your third album, you're not gonna shoot up to stadium level quite yet, even if you have a huge fan base because you like blew up quickly. Like it
The
makes
other thing
sense to
is
work your way up.
people there may be that many people that want to come see you, but people want intimate experiences. So
Hmm.
many people would rather like Haley Williams could probably sell out an arena. Like,
Yeah.
but she chose the Ryman because she wanted that intimate feel of
Hmm.
the residency. Like, I think art sometimes artists get so caught up in like, oh my God, I'm at this point in my career and I can be playing these big, but like
That
you
doesn't
have
mean
to
you
think
have to though.
fan wise, people want to be close to them. Like they want to be
Yeah.
in that room with, and they want to feel seen. And even in an arena, like you don't feel that seen when you're at the very tippy top of the arena as somebody who's been there.
Yeah.
Like you're there because you want to be there, but like you don't
Mhm.
feel very like connected sometimes to the
Yeah.
artist. So
And again, smaller venues, just you can add a second date if the demand is there. And I feel like that's just the better way to go is like um have those smaller venues and if the demand's there, you can add on dates or do a second leg of tour and come back like Sabrina did because Nashville got dates in the second leg as well.
yeah,
Um, but that way you're not running into the risk of going too much space with not enough people.
yeah.
And just keeping that demand high for people wanting to see you at the next tour. If it's not feasible to add a second date for like time restraints or something, then it's like, well, now people are gonna want to go to your next show because they didn't get to see
And
this
it's
one.
all about creating those own viral moments within yourself. If like you're
Hmm.
getting the like, oh my God, it was so hard to get tickets and all this stuff,
Yeah.
it's like people are more interested to probably try to come to that, even if they are casual fans, than like
Yeah.
the diehards just getting canceled on. Like, because then you're upsetting your diehards, and like, why would you want to do that? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Any other things before we wrap up here, Alex? We
no,
do have
we
timers
actually
on here,
talked a lot more than
unfortunately.
I thought we were going to about this topic, so.
Okay. Well, thank y'all for sticking with us as we do a remote recording for the first
Very
time.
weird recording. This is
Um,
dedication to the podcast, though, because 2 years ago, us, we would have just canceled. So,
that's fair. Yeah. If you have any thoughts on oh, you did the hard thing. Go to YouTube and you see some reactions, I
I
guess.
didn't
I didn't
know
know
that
they
Zoom
happen on
did this.
Zoom
I know it was
too.
a FaceTime thing.
No,
And so when
FaceTime
I put up
does.
both thumbs up and it did the little fireworks, I was like, oh,
I would have to turn it on. I guess it won't let me.
oh, I didn't know it was
Anyways,
on.
I guess yours is on. But yeah, if you guys have any like comments or anything about all of this that's going on in the industry, or maybe there's something else in the industry that we haven't addressed yet that you would love to get us to talk about, you can send that to the Music Lens Podcast at gmail.com. You can also comment on our YouTube for this episode or comment on our socials. All of that's going to be under at the Music Lens Podcast. And you can follow Alex at Alex Laker Music on all the things. And you can follow me at Katie F Music on all the things. And we will see you next time. Bye.